Hi everybody, I'm Ellie, and I'm going to be your technical analyst today. Hello everybody, how's it going today? Happy Monday? I think it's Monday, right? Turkey has a holiday from last Friday till Wednesday, so starting off every single show with Ellie saying hi to you. Her name is Ellie, she's a toy poodle, and she's a specialist at Ellie wave analysis, okay? Yeah, Ellie wave theory, I love it. You having a good day today? Say hi to everybody. Hi everybody. I'm just gonna bite my dad all day. Anyways, so it's been about 2-3 days since I've live streamed. Mainly because I took the weekend off and unfortunately my house got flooded. So, hold on. My camera here is being a little bit weird. What is going on with my camera? Give me 1 second, I'm not sure what's going on with this. I have no idea how to change this. I did something. If you guys can help me, that'd be great, because when I do that, that's what happens. Anybody know how to use OBS? I'm just gonna reset everything here. Go to default. Well, okay, I guess we're gonna go without a camera today. That's alright too. I'll just want to fix it another time here. I don't want to take up your time. Okay, anyways, let's get the show on the road today. So thank you very much for joining me. Today we're gonna talk about mainly two things. One is, first of all, well actually three things, of course, Bitcoin technical analysis. The second thing that we're gonna watch for is a possible huge bounce that we're going to talk about. There is going to be a massive opportunity for us to long. It's not always guaranteed that these kinds of things can happen, but we have to make note of these particular places. And if something could actually come to fruition, it's going to be worth our while to end up longing it. You know, I'm not comfortable not being on camera, so I'm going to try to get this in here again actually. And let's see if I can... just give me 1 second, guys, okay? 1920. There we go. 1920 by 1080. Okay, there we go. So I can get this good now. Okay, perfect. It's actually back to normal. Nope, it's not back to normal. Something's going on with it. I don't know what's going on. Alright, I'm back, guys. Can you see me? Everything is good. Just making sure here. OBS froze my computer. It's been having some issues lately for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Okay, anyways, I apologize for that, guys. Okay, let's get into this. Let's just jump right to it. I do apologize for that. Can you guys see me fine? Okay, perfect. So let's start off with Bitcoin's technical analysis, okay? The first thing that we're gonna notice about Bitcoin right now is there's a possible channel. Now, it depends on two ways that you can see this, okay? You can see this as a channel that's forming, but if you go to a higher time frame, like a 12-hour time frame, hey, I do apologize about that, guys. Sometimes there are technical difficulties while streaming, and I do appreciate your patience. And the second way that we can possibly see this is an ascending triangle. So how do you guys see this? Yeah, I'm going to fix the camera for the next stream, Mohammed. I don't want to be rude and take up your time here. So this could be an ascending triangle, but either way, what we see are these particular points that have formed the support. We're seeing a bull trapped region above 21,700, and we're seeing a higher low. So because of what we actually see already, we have to assume that there's a possible bounce incoming at the next sloped trendline support that formed the channel, right? You must see it like that, okay? So this opportunity right here is coming up. I'm going to long it big and hard, and I'm going to stop myself out like at around probably 0.5%. I'm going to try to nail this bottom, believe it or not, okay? I'm going to assume that there's going to be some wicked off regions at the beginning, maybe 1%, and I'm going to long 50 Bitcoins, maybe 65. It really depends on my mood and how much conviction. Okay, so if we end up dropping there, we're going to drop about, say, 13%. Even if I caught 1 or 2% of that, of a move to the upside, or it could be even bigger. Even if this ended up retracing, for example, the 382, let's just say it bounced like right here, okay? Right around here, which is around 19,600, maybe wicking down to 19,500. That's a reasonable support for me to be extremely interested. But who knows, it might correct upwards, then come down. But either way, this range is going to be really interesting to me. I'll ladder down about $300-400 when it falls below around 19,750. So even if it rallied, for example, up to the 382 Fibonacci region, or even the 236, which is the most bearish scenario, when I play my $1 million position, I could possibly end up making anywhere between $30,000 to $40,000. If it goes to the upside and it hits 382 with, for example, a 50 BTC position, I'll make $60,000. A few days ago, I ended up longing 2 major Bitcoin rallies, okay? One was with 50 Bitcoins where I made $10,500, and the other one was like around 2 in the morning where it was right around here. I longed it at 20,750. I played 65 Bitcoins. I got a 400 profit on 65 Bitcoins, which was about 30K, a little bit more than that. So I've been doing really well trading Bitcoin, and I think that I'm going to nail this one again. And I want to share with you guys all of my thoughts on what I want to do. Now, this is not financial advice, right? I'm not here to manage your portfolios or tell you what kind of trades to take. So for those that are new to my channel, welcome, and thank you very much for joining me. I'm Philakone Crypto. I started in 2015 with about 400 Ethereum that I mined and bought, and I ended up selling it near a top in 2017, which allowed me to retire in terms of my engineering job and pursue crypto full time. And now I'm here to give you one of the best technical analysis advice channels and just my thoughts on the market in general, going from basically a $2,000 trader to a $1 million trader now. And I really hope that I can share my tips and my tricks with you guys so you can actually grow as a trader as well. Clarence, I actually gained about 30 pounds here in Turkey. Turkey's good, but I've lost 10 of it. I've been exercising and working out really hard for the past about month and a half now. I'm getting kind of jacked, and I'm doing lots of cardio. So just give it 2 months. You're gonna buy my OnlyFans. I'm just joking around. So right now, this is a good opportunity that's coming, right? Right now, we look on the weekly. Okay, the weekly is still pretty nasty, but a little bit of momentum going to the upside for 1 week, 2 week now. But keep in mind that these are lagging indicators, okay? These are lagging indicators, and a lagging indicator is defined by a metric that relies on previous data to formulate an average. Because it relies on previous data and data coming in, it's not instantaneous because it's taking an average. And because it's taking an average, what ends up happening is it's always not the most accurate. So it's definitely not real time, unlike RSI or price action analysis. That's real time right now. So the monthly it's all right, actually. The monthly is looking pretty good so far. I mean, if this month finished off, I know we're only 10 days in. If the month finished off with doji, that's a pretty good sign right now, okay? On the 4-day that we take a look at, right, we're curving to the upside. There's massive bullish momentum going to the upside, right? So it's looking great so far. On the 3-day, it's curving to the upside as well. On the daily, sure, it's coming down right now, but it's coming down because we're about to hit this previous support channel, and I think there's a massive opportunity for a long, and I'm actually really excited about this position. Okay, I wanted to talk about something else. I'm not the person who discovered this, and I don't know exactly who it was either. Okay, but from what I know, from what I've seen as well in major bull markets, okay, what usually ends up happening after we reach a major top, and in the past 10 years, after we've reached a major top, BTC tends to correct for about 1 full year, and it drops an average of about 80%. Okay, so that's a pretty good ways to go, right? So right now, if we consider that November, for example, was where we reached the all-time high, this upcoming November would be the 1 year period where we reached the 1 year of the average that we've seen in the past before. But if we factor in the 80% move that we've seen in every other bull market before, okay, just let me give you guys an example. Let me just go to Bitfinex here. So the last bull market that we saw in 2017 here, this took the average of about, right here, if you take a look, it took about literally 360, 70 days, about 1 year exactly, and we ended up correcting about 83% every time we make a new all-time high. So right now, based on that statistic and the all-time high here, if we dropped another 80%, for example, and it took about 1 year, so right around here, the price is around the $13,000 region. So I'm still very bearish, unfortunately, because we see the most volume that's bought between the 12 to 14K. So if you're a longer term investor, somebody in my group ended up asking me, hey Phil, like I'm managing my portfolio right now, and the portfolio, like for you guys, the public one, this is just my second portfolio that I'm managing for the public because my main portfolio is too private, right? You don't want to be disclosing that kind of information publicly. So the public portfolio that I have right now, it's getting like not destroyed, but it was up $5,000 at a point, and then it dropped to minus 300. Oh, this is not updated. I apologize. It's not updated. So, but right now, there's no point of showing you it then. So right now, it's at 87K. Okay, so it's dropping quite a bit right now because Bitcoin's still dropping. Somebody in my Discord group asked me, hey, Philakone, are you going to be selling so you can buy Bitcoin at a cheaper price? And my answer is no. When you're investing long term and you have a dollar cost averaging strategy, you do not liquidate your position. You're not leveraging. There's no need to sell off your position. And the logic behind that is so you're going to dollar cost average because you just never know where the bounce is going to be. Kind of like when it's at the top, right? You don't want to sell off to buy a little bit less because you're risking it going really high and rallying hard. Despite my bias of being bearish, if I sold off my position to buy cheaper, there's still a chance it could rally huge. And if that happened, I had to buy back into my position with the same amount of crypto, I'd be buying it at a higher price. It doesn't make sense. So you don't want to be selling off your position just because it's dropping 20, 30%. If you're bullish with Bitcoin long term, you're going to hang on to that position and you're going to hold strong and you're going to go for those $70,000, $100,000 all-time highs. And that's really important to understand, okay? Don't sell off your position. It's not financial advice, but it's just from my personal experience of holding long-term for 7 years and dollar cost averaging when we've had 50 to 80% drops. I've always come out ahead. I don't have any lag right now at all, DK. I think it must be you. My stream says to be excellent condition. So for dollar cost averaging, guys, just hold on. If, in my opinion, if you have $1, if you have $10, every dollar that you put into crypto, if you're going with alts or Bitcoin, you've got a chance to multiply it from 3 times to 10x, right? And I've always said there's 3 ways of investing, and I'll talk about it very briefly. One is focusing on the high market cap coins. The high market cap coins are the top, like say 50 or 100 coins that have already withstood bearish markets, and they're here to stay, and they have a much more resilience to actually not dropping. I focus on projects with good developers, a very good team, good and sound fundamentals that can prove to be very useful in the future. That's what I personally believe in, and that's how I choose to invest. Now, some people will go for lower market cap coins between, say, rank 200 and 400 because it could still be upcoming. They still have a very decent market cap. The team's still getting their footing into the community and the reputation's going up. But you're still taking a chance because there's probably so many of these companies and ICOs that are doing the exact same thing, right? Like these newer companies, it's crypto, it's very diversified, but there's a lot that are trying to do the same thing. So I'd rather not invest in those companies that are still upcoming, right? Because you just don't know. I'd rather go with the blue chip equivalents, right, of crypto. And then the third way of investing is doing some research and a lot of research for very new coins that might have just announced their light paper, their white paper, and they're still doing their ICO. So they're still really new. Their market cap is ultra low, right? Those are the kind of coins I absolutely avoid because it requires too much research that you've got to do. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to chase these newer projects believing if I put in $1,000, it could multiply by 20 or 50. But of course, some people do that and they might invest in like 50 projects and maybe 10 of them go to the moon. And that's enough for some people to make big profit on it, okay? So I just want to talk about that quickly as well. So Bitcoin right now, no doubt in my mind, it's heading towards that particular region. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's just so perfect, this setup. And I'm pretty sure that the bulls are going to be interested in that zone. And it's probably going to get there maybe tomorrow, maybe the 13th, but definitely before the 14th, if we continue down. But if we end up rallying first of all, of course, it can be extended to perhaps the 16th. But I guarantee that in under 7 days, before the end of the next week's close, we're most likely going to hit the support. And one of two things is going to happen. We're going to end up going to the upside huge with a maybe 5 to 10% rally, or we're going to end up capitulating. The bulls give up. And if this ends up breaking, we're probably going to see much lower lows than that. Okay? So I've seen these patterns before. I've seen them play out. And what I do know from them is that there's always massive opportunity. Okay, so somebody in my Discord group asked me today, when do you stay out of the market? What are conditions for you to take a trade, or days where you decide to trade and days you decide to take off? So that's a good question because there are some days where I don't do anything in the market, where I'm just looking and I'm waiting and I'm being very patient. So first thing I need to establish is that it's really important to be patient. You got to be extremely patient when it comes to trading. You cannot always have this necessity and desire to want to be in a trade. If you feel that you always need to be in a trade and your money needs to be working for you, you're going to end up having a low criteria to enter a trade. And if that ends up happening, right, you're going to end up taking bad trades that may not be the best ones to take. So first of all, you have to have a standard for what trades to take. You have to have a set of rules, a set of criterias when to trade and when not to trade. Without these criterias, you're just going to be a jack of all trades, but a specialist at nothing. And what you want to do is be a specialist, a sniper, because day trading requires a very specific skill set that lets you have this eye to identify specific trades. And I'm going to talk about some of the criterias that I use to decide whether to trade or not. Okay? So first of all, it must be a volatile market. Volatility is one of the big things that you need to be aware of to trade. If there's no volatility, you can't trade. I've seen some people, sorry to say, in my Discord group that are trying to do technical analysis when Bitcoin is moving 1% in the past 36 hours, trying to do Elliott wave theory on it. Who cares, guys? Step away from the computer if there's no volatility on BTC and don't even try to trade it. You have to have volatility. That's the key criteria to be able to trade. And the reason for that is because let's say a coin moved 20%. You don't need to catch all 20, but if you caught a percentage of that 20, if you caught, for example, 30% of that 20, that's 6%, right? So there's more margin for you to catch those percentages and more margin for error. Do you know what I mean? But if a coin's moving only 5% and you caught, for example, 30% of that, you're only catching 1.5% of it. And that 5%, it's got to be really precise, your entries. When you have more data over coins that have moved a greater range, you're going to be able to nail these trades a lot better. So volatility is the key thing to have, whether it's going up and you're finding an opportunity to trade a breakout or catch a dip, or it's going up really high and you can get an opportunity to short. the volatility must be there. Or on the downside, the volatility must be there because whether you're trying to catch a dip to long it, right? Or you're trying to catch maybe a short on a breakout, right? So the volatility, it must be there. What defines volatility? Well, to me, a coin that has volatility is something that has moved one straight path in a short period of time that has a good percentage move. Does that make sense? So for example, right now, I'd say Bitcoin's pretty volatile, but the fractal must be one wave. I define it by fractals, the volatility. So this is one fractal where it made a pattern, and then this is now a separate one, okay? These are separate waves, separate moves. This guy here finished its move, okay? It bull trapped to the upside, and then it just dropped to the downside, something like that, right? Whatever, however you want to call it, maybe even something like that, right? But I'd say more like that, okay? So that move, that this one finished, and then now we're looking at this particular move to the downside. That's one gigantic, huge wave, okay? So there must be a big wave down that's identifiable, and Bitcoin's actually doing a great type of resistance that's sloped right now. So perhaps I might long it. You never know if it moves. So volatility, once again. And second thing is there must be smooth fractals to the downside where the waves are not choppy. If the waves are choppy, I'm not going to trade it, okay? Like here, this is pretty choppy as shit. I'm not going to trade those coins. Right here, I'm not going to trade it. But if you find something, right, even if there's no volatility, another method I use when there's no volatility is, first of all, I understand that it's probably consolidating. So if you can look through every single coin, like you can just go to every coin, you can sort it by symbol, put your mouse, click on the first one, keep pressing down. Just keep going until you see something where there's perhaps a pattern or a trend line. So for example, if I was on Bitcoin, I'd be like, whoa, there's a trend line. Maybe I want to break it. I want to enter long if it breaks. So you can go and look on every single coin very quickly to see if a pattern is forming, right? Because if a pattern is forming, perhaps there's going to be a breakout. So despite no volatility, you can still keep hunting for patterns that are forming. This way, if you see the pattern, you can plan for a possible breakout, right? So basically just three things. Volatility is one. Two, right? Try to look for a huge fractal that has moved. It's got to be moving. It's got to be one straight line upwards, right? Or one straight line downwards. It's got to be moving or else you can't trade it, right? And the third one is, even though there's no volatility, I'm going to look for a pattern. Patterns are my favorite. I'm a great trendline breakout player lately, if you've noticed. All of June and July lately, it's been all about breakouts. So if you can spot these patterns that are forming, or if you can spot these long moves to the downside, right? And then you can possibly long them or shorting depending on what you see. And then other factors that contribute to what to do, you can look at bullishly diverging RSI, right? You can look at MACD crossovers as well. And of course, adding in Elliott wave analysis. So those are all bonuses for the technical analysis that you'll be performing. But some days you're just not going to see anything happen. And if that's okay. But if the market is literally going sideways, Bitcoin's going 1 to 2% over 10 hours, the whole market is not even moving. For example, today, if you sort it by lowest movement downward or highest move down, 10% is nothing. You know what I mean? It's nothing. Move 14 here, but still, it's not clear. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like it. And the volume, it's slowly bleeding. The volume, I don't like it. So this is just not enough for me. Lately, I trade 10% and up, but it's still not enough. I want a 20% move in one huge wave. Then I'll consider longing it or perhaps shorting it, right? And if you sort it by, for example, highest movement in the green, there's nothing. So why would you waste your time looking at a random coin like ICP that's moved 6.63% in 24 hours? It's not worth your time to even look at it. Maybe there's a pattern, right? But I've been rarely hunting for patterns lately too. I just want to find that trend line and I want to long it or short it or see the perfect Elliott wave analysis. And if I see that, then I'm probably gonna short it. Like, this is beautiful. Like, this one here, I'm just looking at a random coin, whatever that is. It's probably something like that. Like 1, 2, this is probably something like that. I don't know, probably a 3, 4, and a 5 maybe. It just looks pretty smooth, right? So that's a great coin to have traded, in my opinion. Okay? Like, perhaps when you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 up there, you probably would have shorted that if I caught it, but I didn't. Okay? Another great example is you see trend lines, right? You just see lots of, this one's not the perfect one, right? But nevertheless, it's something like that. You want to identify a trend line, it breaks through it, it retests, and then you can get a short opportunity on the breakdown after the retest fails. So these are some of my bread and butter strategies that I always focus on. There's no ideal way to trade. It's more like finding a good set of skills, learning about various things, and then sometimes you just play I Spy with my little eye. You look at all these charts, every single one, you look at them one by one, all 170 coins that I have here, or 136, then see which ones are forming a pattern, right? See which ones have a trend line. See which ones can have an Elliott wave analysis on it. So those are some of the main things. Another way that I decide on whether to trade or not is this site I use called cryptoloom.co. Okay, it's right here. I'll type it to you guys. They do not pay me to talk about this. They just gave me a free subscription for life. I think they gave it to me by accident. They meant to give me a one month trial, but they've never charged me for it since. So yeah, cryptoloom.co, $40 a month, and all that this is it arranges it by percentage movement in dollar up or down, volume percentage movement up or down, also RSI up or down, like high or low. So it lists every single coin. It's available for a lot of different exchanges, and this is like a site that I always have on. I've got a macro that basically toggles through each column one by one every 15 seconds. I use this site because it allows me to see what's popping up right away. For example, if something is going off, I'll know 100% because the first thing that happens on this site when a coin goes off is the 5-minute chart starts to show up green. For example, if the 5-minute chart, if a coin moves 7%, it's going to show up here. It's going to say 7%. And then the volume will have picked up in the past 5 minutes too. Then if it starts rolling over to the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the 4-hour, then if they're all green, if these light up green, there's something going on with that coin. And then the RSI starts to go from high on the 5-minute to the 15 to the 30 eventually. So this is how I'm able to catch potential breakouts, right? Or sorry, breakouts happening already, but getting ready for the next wave coming up. So then another way I decide if it's a volatile day or not is, for example, I look at the 24-hour first. Is anything high RSI, guys, today? Nope. Nothing is above 70. Is anything low? Nope. 40 to 70 is so neutral. 30 to 70, really neutral. What about the 4-hour? Anything above 70? Nope. Anything below 24? Yeah, RSR, SPF, but they're low RSI. Have they moved a lot? That's more important. So you connect the dots and say, look, RSR is at 25.4 RSI on the 4-hour, but it only moved 3.9%. So that's a false reading. See what I mean? Has anything moved in this column high today? We see XTC moving up 7.92%. That we see TRB moving down, but the volume is so crappy, you don't even want to trade that coin, trust me. So then you see nothing high RSI or low on the 4-hour or the 24. You see nothing that's moved high or low, right? But if the opposite happened, where something was volatile, you're going to see these columns high. Has anything picked up in volume in the past 4 hours? Nothing has moved, nothing has dropped more than 27% in 4 hours in volume. Nothing has moved up over 37.63% in volume in the past 4 hours. So does that mean it's really dead? Yeah, it is. But if you see all of a sudden that the 15-minute volume starts to spike up like 30-40%, that's a big sign that something is happening. And then the 30 minutes starts to roll over. The 15-minute gets high volume. So if it continues for 30 minutes, then obviously the 30 minutes will start to show as well. If it continues for 4 hours, and then obviously the 4 hour will show as well. So this site, it does a lot of work for me. It's not available on TradingView for free, right? That's why I had to buy this site at first. Well, you know what I mean, buy. I offered to buy it, but hey, I'll take a free $30 subscription a month or 40, whatever. It's not that much, but it gets you a lot. So these are some of the criterias that I look at every single day that lets me decide whether I'm going to trade or literally just play video games all day. Like when I'm not trading, I'm playing World of Warcraft, I'm playing Mass Effect, I'm playing Dota. I've just been playing a bunch of video games and just relaxing with my babies lately, my dogs and my dog and my cats. So that's the best thing about trading as well. You don't need to always be trading. You have to figure out what criteria you're going to have for yourself to enter a trade or not. And then if there are no trades, walk away. The more you look at the charts and try to force and find a trade when there's nothing going on because your criterias are not met to trade, the more you're going to burn yourself out. So you have to know when to take time off. You have to know to walk away from the computer. Save your energy. Every month, I see that you only have like an energy bar to trade a certain amount. And once that energy bar, guys, it gets depleted, trust me, your judgment, your technical analysis abilities, your rationale, your discipline, it's thrown out the window. It's a real thing. It took me years to figure that out, that burnouts are real. You want to save all of that I mentioned, your energy bar for the good trades, for when it's actually worth your time. I see too many people just sit there and try to do TA. It's not good, guys, when the market's dead. So just sit back, chill, wait for a better opportunity. And today, I'm sorry to say, but it sucked trading, right? The opportunity to have traded was that break over here. You know, when it broke down 6% like 2 days ago on Friday. But now that nothing's going on, gotta sit back and chill. So my only other option now is to just wait until we get to this bottom range over here. And that's where I'm gonna plan my attack for a long. So I'm gonna keep it short today, guys. 30 minutes. I've gotta walk my dog. I hope that you guys appreciate it. Today's video. I apologize you couldn't see my sexy face on video today. Sorry, guys. No midnight fantasies tonight for you guys. So I'm gonna call it at that. I appreciate you guys joining me for this video always and for my live streams. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe and like the video. If you guys really enjoyed it, please use the super chat feature and give me 1.2 million Bitcoins. Just kidding. So anyways, thank you very much for joining me, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful night and I will see you tomorrow.